How are you all? Looking good. Okay, so yes, as Nicole introduced me, my name is Natalie and I'm here to talk to you today about how to read food labels, how to understand ingredients, and basically what you can do when you go to the supermarket. More often than not, I was one of these people. I went to the supermarket and I walked down the aisle, I would pick up a product off the shelf, flip it over to have a look at the back, I'd read it, scan it and go, oh yeah, that looks okay, low in fat and all of that, and I put it into the trolley and keep going. But I really had no idea what I was looking for. Okay, so what I hope is that at the end of this session, everyone will have a better understanding of how to read a food label and exactly what you're looking for. Okay. Why is this important? It's really quite important to understand how to read a food label because studies have shown that by following a nutritious and well-balanced diet, you can actually reduce the risk of serious health complications, being that of heart disease, some cancers, and also osteoporosis. Okay, it's really important that as more and more food has been packaged and for sale on shelves, it's really important that you know how to read the nutrients, understand what the nutrients are doing to your body, and also, more importantly, be able to find the unhealthy ingredients in food. Okay, and hopefully we will learn this by the end of this session. Before we get to how to read a food label, I'm going to take you back to the basics. So just back to school for a little bit, not too long, and I'm going to just quickly cover some very basic nutrition skills, topics. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that a complete diet consists of 5 things: protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And of course, we all need to drink water to stay alive. Okay? Now, the main purpose of eating food is to provide your body with energy and to keep you alive. Let's have a look at each of these nutrition topics now, starting with, of course, what is energy? So first of all, when we go through these nutrition topics, I'll be talking about the energy content of them. Okay, so energy is just basically how many calories or how many kilojoules are in food. Now, calories and kilojoules are exactly the same thing, although 1 calorie is equal to 4.18 kilojoules. Okay, so for the rest of the session, I'm going to be talking in calories, but it's very easy now when you read nutrition panels because they basically have both listed there. So it makes it quite easy for us. Let's have a look at protein now. Okay, so very quickly, you'll probably all remember that protein are things like meat, chicken, fish, and soy products if you are a vegetarian. Now, protein has a very, very important function in the body. It's used for growth and repair of your muscles and tissues. Now, protein has got 4 calories per gram. There are 2 types of protein, complete and incomplete protein. Complete protein contains all of the 9 essential amino acids that your body needs, okay? And they are found in things like meat and dairy products. And then there's incomplete proteins. Now, incomplete proteins do not have all of the essential amino acids, and basically incomplete proteins are things like vegetable protein sources. All right, next is carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates, just like protein, contains 4 calories per gram. Now, sources of protein are things like rice, bread, pasta, noodles, but most people forget or they don't know that sugar and honey are also types of carbohydrate. Okay? Now, the main role of carbohydrate in the diet is to provide your body with energy. So all carbohydrate that is taken in is actually converted to glucose, and glucose is a type of sugar, and glucose is absorbed into your cells. Now, the brain only works with glucose, so carbohydrates in your diet is very, very important. Now, there's 2 types of carbohydrates, simple and complex. The simple carbohydrates only contains 1 sugar molecule, and that's all of the very sweet things like sugar and honey, very refined carbohydrates. And then the starchier carbohydrates are called complex carbs, and they're things like your rices, your pasta, your noodles, those kind of things. Okay, and finally, fat. Now, fat has by far the most energy per gram. It contains 9 calories per gram. So you are getting double the amount of calories in fat than you are in protein and carbohydrates. But fat cannot be excluded from the diet. It's very important. Fat is needed to transport vitamins. It's also needed to build cell membranes and also produce hormones. Okay, very importantly, there are good fats and there are bad fats. Okay, so the good fats, I'll start with the bad fats, always start with the bad. Now, bad fats are saturated and trans fats. Now, saturated fats is found in red meat and dairy products, and when you overconsume these dairy and meat products, it can lead to elevated levels of cholesterol in your blood. Okay? Now, also trans fats are a very nasty, ugly fat that you get, and trans fats have the ability to raise your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol. Now, at all times, or wherever possible, you should be avoiding trans fats, and they are found in things like cakes, biscuits, salad dressings, lots of processed and deep-fried foods. Okay, so that's the bad, but now to the good. Of course, we have to finish with the good. And there are good fats. In fact, we have what we call essential fatty acids because it's essential that we eat them within our diet because our body cannot make them. Okay, so the good fats are our poly and monounsaturated oils. And you can find them in things like omega-3, which is found in fish, walnuts and flaxseed oil. And also the essential and good fats to eat are things like in nuts and avocado, but mainly in fish, the omega-3. Okay, so just to recap before we get onto this how to read a nutrition information panel, protein and carbohydrates contain 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram. Just so I can slip it in so you all know, alcohol is very high in energy. It has 7 calories per gram. And good old water has 0 calories per gram. Okay, so now you can store that in your memory. Let's move on to this nutrition panel. Okay, let's begin. What you see up here on the slide, the little green table, is a nutrition information panel. And you find that when you flip over any packaged food, it should contain a nutrition information panel and also an ingredients list. Now, on this nutrition information panel, there are compulsory things that must be listed. It is compulsory to list the amount of energy. So we've all just learned energy means calories or kilojoules in that food product. It also must list the amount of protein. It must list the amount of fat as total fat and also as saturated fat, which if you remember is the bad fat. It also must have carbohydrates, so the total amount of carbohydrates and then also the carbohydrates that are made up of sugars. And then it also has to have sodium. So they are the compulsory things. Also on the nutrition information panel, you see 2 columns. There will always be a per serve column and then a per 100 grams or per 100 ml column. Now later down the track you will see why they are so important, but just know now that you need these 2 columns so that you can compare products and it will enable you to see how good the product is. Okay, here in Singapore, they've made it quite easy, or they're trying to help you to make good choices when you do go to the supermarket, because you'll see either the healthy choice symbol or the healthy snack symbol. Now, the healthy choice symbol are foods that are generally lower in fat, saturated fat, sodium, high in fibre and high in calcium. Okay, so it's telling you that this is a good choice. Also, if it has a healthy snack symbol on it, it's saying that these are the smaller portions and again they are a healthier choice, okay? But you will note that it is limited to 2 servings per day. So this is just a guide to help you when you're standing in the supermarket, a guide to help you make a better choice. Now, how to read a food label. Here are some things that you may not know. When you flip over and you read the ingredients list, all ingredients must be listed in decreasing weight, okay, including any water. So that means that things that are right at the top of the ingredients list is what is the most in that packet or the container, and the things that at the last thing in the ingredients list is in the smallest amount. So for example, if this was your product here and you were reading the ingredients, it's listed as maize, sunflower oil, sea salt, black pepper, and natural lemon extract. So that means that in that container, it contains the most of maize, which is corn, and it contains the least of the natural lemon extract. So that's a really good indication when you read the nutrition panel and the ingredients, it's a good indication of what is in the most quantity. Okay, you can tell how healthy the product is. Just so you know, unless things are in very, very small quantities, so less than 5%, they don't have to be listed. And it's completely okay, for example, for a chocolate chip. Now, chocolate chips are made up of cocoa, cocoa butter, and sugar. But you don't have to list all of those three things out. Okay, on the label, it's perfectly okay just to write chocolate chip.